It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Monday Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast on this St. Patty's Day on the 17th day of March with a special guest this morning. Boy, wait till you hear what she's gone through with today. Oh my goodness. Of course, today's show is brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scootaround, and by chilliescruises. We have some news stories we're going to get to eventually this morning. The lead story, and this is kind of breaking news, Carnival Sunshine delays departure over the storms last night in Virginia. And she finally sailed about 8 o'clock my time this morning. So she is on her way after spending the night in port. Also today, we've got ramifications on the trade war with Canada, Mexico disruption of the cruise industry, EU's ETIAS delayed, near failed health inspection, weather alters Ovation of the Seas cruise, and Carnival's proposed Pinnacle class, and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today, as I said, is St. Patty's Day. This day in history, in 1946, Jackie Robinson takes the field for the very first time for the Brooklyn Dodgers in an exhibition game in Daytona Beach, Florida. All right, if you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the old fat guy. All right, so our lead story and the important part of today's show is my guest. So we tried about 40 minutes ago or so. She was on board the Resilient Lady. We tried to set up things from there. And I could hear her. It was a beautiful picture. I could hear her fine. She could not hear me at all. So finally, she decided to go ashore. Well, the ship's in the wrong place, and it took forever. And anyway, so we weren't entirely sure she was going to make it. She first went to the Renaissance Hotel, and they didn't have Wi-Fi. So she went across the street from the Renaissance Hotel to a Cuban restaurant that she loves there in Aruba. And she actually came in literally 3 minutes ago. 3 minutes before we went on the air. With no further ado, Hila, welcome back to the podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. I hope you can hear me okay now.
Oh, yeah. We can hear you fine. See that you got a little wind blowing in your hair. Did you get yourself an adult beverage?
Not yet.
Oh, my God.
I know.
I mean, it's a little early for adult beverages, but, you know.
I can have one.
Oh, sure you can. You got a day off today.
Island time. Yes, I do. I was going to say I don't have to work until tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m.
Oh, you've got a long time off.
Yeah.
All right. So you're in Aruba today. It's about time for Resilient Lady to go back across the pond, isn't it?
That is true. Yeah. And on the 12th of April, the ship will leave San Juan for the last time of the season. And I will adios because I'll be heading back to Playa del Carmen. But the ship is actually going to be crossing over with those lovely 10 days at sea. Yeah. I don't want to do that. So I've already got my flight details. I'm out of here on the 12th of April.
Okay, so you're going back home for a while.
Yeah.
Staying with Virgin?
Yeah, I will be. Yeah. So there's some other interesting news coming up about that, but we'll save that for a later date.
Okay. All right.
But I should be heading back in June to to Scarlet Lady. I'll be joining in Barcelona in June.
Okay. All right. So you'll be home from April to June. That gives you a couple months to go play at the No Name Bar.
Well, I'm going to be over in Playa del Carmen though, so
Yeah, but you can
closing
get
off.
back and forth.
I know. However, I do have some other news that I should throw in there because I'm going to go visit my best friend Ron up in Canada in June, though. So it should be warmer there then, and do some vineyard tours
Nice.
up in Kelowna.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
I, of course, am going to be leaving here in about 10 days and going across the pond.
Yeah. See,
I'm
I haven't
I,
watched your show in so long, it seems.
yeah, I'm going to be going back to Europe. Um, well, so you missed out on all kinds of stuff here while you've been working so crazy hours.
I know. I know.
Yeah, I had a great day here a couple of weeks ago. Almost died again. That wasn't fun.
Yeah.
You'll notice I don't have my oxygen on.
It's hard to see right now. There's a
Yeah, yeah.
glare on mine.
I don't
But,
have my oxygen on. This
well,
is
that's
the
great.
third day now that I am back to where I'm comfortable enough to go without it
That's awesome.
as I'm sitting still. Now, I still can't walk across the room without having it on. So it's close. If
Yeah,
I should need it, it's, oops,
right
come
there.
here. It's right here.
Well, that's good.
But anyway, so what's been going on with the resilient lady?
Well, I do want to tell you, I've talked to quite a few people who are either in confined to wheelchairs or um, who have some mobility issues, and everybody seems to find everything perfectly fine. I've noticed, and I was going to take photos, and then I ended up working late last night. Um, that like all of the bars have a low bar area. You know, that was an issue I think on MSC. You couldn't really
Right,
pull up anywhere
right.
and get bar service because you were way down in your chair. And on
Yes.
all of the, well, my two favorite bars on the ship, the Sip Lounge, which is the champagne lounge, and then the one at the aft end of the ship, which is called the Dockhouse Bar. Those both have areas where you could wheel right up, and it's a low bar area there, so that's great. And it seems like all the automatic doors are functioning well and all of that, so it looks good. And from what I can tell, it's good. That brings me to one other thing I want to mention before I forget. Um, in the St. Martin, if you're ever there or any of your followers are going to St. Martin, a friend of mine owns a fabulous little beach bar there, and it's called Marley's. Now, there are several steps to get up into it. However, there was somebody coming in the other day, and I knew this because I'd asked about it before, that there's a little alleyway on the side, better than the one that you had to go through at Barracuda Hotel. But
Okay.
there's a smooth little alleyway that goes right over to Main Street. You come right around to the front, and you can wheel right into this great beach bar, and it's called Marley's Sports Grill and Bar. It's a great place
Awesome.
for lunch. They got a dog there, and it's they're pet friendly, and but it's a great place to sit and watch the boardwalk and have a nice meal and everything, but totally wheelchair accessible. So
Cool.
I thought I would throw that in there.
That's
Marley's.
always good to know.
Yeah.
So,
So
so how's the jewelry business?
it's going really well. Yeah. I sell a very different gem that really isn't sold in any of the ports much. So that's why
Right.
it's unique. It's a Turkish gem called zoltanite that is known as a phenomena stone. It changes color depending on the light that you're in. And so I'm not wearing any of it right now because I don't wear a bunch of jewelry when I come ashore. Aruba's totally safe, as you know, but I just don't wear it when I come out here. Better safe than sorry. I'm always
Yeah.
afraid I'll fall flat on my face while I'm not looking where I'm going and smash a ring or something.
Right.
That's
All
more of a
right. So you've got less than a month now.
yeah. That's right. So I got to
So
make
you're
some money.
done. Yeah. Saw lots of jewelry here this last couple weeks.
Yeah, I know. That's the whole idea. The problem is
What's
I go out in the port and I spend all the money.
yeah. What can I say? All right, so you're at the Cuban restaurant. What's the name of it? Do you
It's called,
recall?
oh yeah, it actually, this is where I come and hang out every time I'm in Aruba. I always have lunch here. It's called Cuba's Cookin'.
Cuba's Cooking,
Yeah. So
and
it's,
everybody knows that you're vegan. So what do you eat when you're at Cuba's Cooking?
well, they actually have quite a few items on their menu, a whole vegan section. So, and they're good at making whatever you want, kind of thing. But I always they do a really good. I'll send you some photos. They do a really good um, what I want to say, an avocado salad that I get, which I don't really think that's Cuban, but whatever. It's got avocado in it, and I love avocado. But then they make this. It's what's it called? Ropa Viejo, something like that. But it's vegan, but it has your favorite tofu in it. But it's really good. It's seasoned, and it's got like bell peppers and onions, and then I always get the side of rice and beans, which are excellent. So no pork or anything in them, so that's good. They're vegan friendly place.
And I'm
But
sure
there's
you.
loads of great stuff. You know what? My friends came here last time we were here, and they're big carnivores. They ate everything on the menu. They loved it. Everybody loves it here. So it's a really cool atmosphere. I'm sitting outside right now, but I usually sit inside by the bar, and they've got really cool architecture, really cool artwork on the walls and everything, and it's a really cool place.
All right. Well, next time when we're in Aruba, we'll have to do that. Next time we're in St. Martin's, we're going to have to do that. So you're giving me things to put on my bucket list here.
Yeah, and it's easy. What we did today, like I said, we ended up docking further back. There's an NCL, big NCL, Norwegian gym is in port with us, and an AIDA ship, and a couple of other big yachts. And so I guess they figured the people on Virgin, they'd stick us all the way down at the end. And so and usually when I was on Regent, we had like a shuttle that would take us up to the gate. Not today. And so anyway, that's why I went out, and I'm like, I just had to hoof it. So it was quite a distance down into town, but easy walk. And you know what? It's something that you could easily do. Accessibility wise, it's completely flat. And you know, in Aruba, I don't know if you've been to Aruba before, but you have, yeah. There's nice smooth sidewalks and everything here. So and cutouts at each sidewalk. So it's real easy for anybody with accessibility issues.
I also did an accessible tour in Aruba, a tour of the island, which actually had a lift on the back of the bus that picked up me in my chair, and I rolled right in the back of the bus. It was great.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, there are lots of people. I mean, with big ships in. I've seen a lot of people in chairs and scooters and that type of thing going around. So obviously, it's very easy.
Yeah. All right. Well, Elizabeth, thank you for going through all this hell this morning to get on the show. So, all right. Well, you go have an adult beverage or two and have a nice lunch there at Cuban Cooking. And if anybody happens to be in Aruba today, go see Elizabeth.
That's where I'll be. All right. Take care, everybody. Chillie, take care.
All right. Love you.
I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Bye for now.
And that, of course, is Elizabeth on location. Elizabeth Stern, my friend, my goodness gracious, probably one of my 3 closest friends in the world. Love Elizabeth to death. All right. So I'll be back with today's news, folks, after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. Okay, before we get to the news, I got a couple of things we need to go over. First, which actually is some news. My friend Michelle Phillips, you remember a couple of years ago, I was at her kennels up in the Yukon Territory and played with her puppies. Michelle Phillips finished 4th in the Iditarod this year. And I've invited her to come on the show. I have not heard back from her yet because I have no idea how old the dogs are that would have been in the Iditarod this year. I mean, is it possible that a 2-year-old dog, this was 2 years ago that I played with her puppies, would have been in one of the teams? I have no idea. That's one of the questions I'd like to ask her. I got a bunch of other questions to ask her too. So anyway, hopefully Michelle will be on the show one day. So we're working on that. The other thing, our friend Katie is up in Vancouver, and my understanding is she tried to smuggle one of these ducks into her suitcase, and the duck pecked her on the hand, and she says, "Oh no, that won't work." So she let the duck go, which is of course a good thing. This is actually at the Queen Elizabeth Park in Vancouver. Got some totem poles there on display. It doesn't look like the best weather in the world for her trip to the park, but this is try to figure this one out, folks. Can you tell what that is? That looks like a pretzel to me with a bunch of stuff on it. Is that like a pretzel salad? I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a pretzel with stuff on it. And this looks like some French fries with stuff on it. But I have no idea. So we're going to have Katie explain to us what it was she was eating up there at Queen Elizabeth Park. So we shall catch up with that again one day real soon. All right, so let's get started with the news, folks. Our top story of the day comes from Carnival, of course, with the Sunshine. Guests boarding the Carnival Sunshine in Norfolk yesterday are not sailing and on their cruise as soon as they'd hoped. Due to a passing cold front, poor weather in the region has delayed the ship's departure until sometime this morning, and as a result, one of the Bahamas port of call visits has been canceled. Guests were informed of the need to delay the ship's departure just the day before embarkation, though the full impact of the ship's 6-night Bahamas itinerary was not known yet. Our Fleet Operations Center is actively monitoring an easterly moving cold front that is likely to impact the Norfolk area Sunday afternoon and into the evening, the email notification explained. The front is producing unfavorable conditions, including strong winds and rain that could make it unsafe for us to depart as scheduled. True to the prediction, local radar weather tracking showed strong thunderstorms and heavy rain throughout the Norfolk region on Sunday afternoon and into the nighttime hours. As of 6:15 a.m. this morning, Carnival Sunshine has not sailed, as they are probably waiting for daylight hours to make sure there's no damage along the route to get these cruise underway. So again, the Sunshine sailed about 8 o'clock. So she's on her way toward the Bahamas. They're probably going to cancel one port out. It looks like they're going to cancel Nassau and go ahead and go to Bimini and Freeport. Is the current plan. That's subject to change. Now, to give you an idea about what this storm was like as far as I'm concerned, now I'm inland, 150, 60 miles or so. The storm came through in 2 waves. The first wave just missed me to the south. The second wave, the later wave and more severe wave, just missed me to the north. The next county up from us, Amherst County, got nailed and on up the valley. We didn't get anything here. A little rain, a little wind, but nothing bad. At midnight last night, now I was tracking the storm, because we were under the, tornado warnings and all that business with the two lines moving through. At midnight last night, it was 70 degrees. It's supposed to go to 30 degrees tonight. That's the cold front coming in behind the storm. That storm just, nailed Richmond. I don't know how bad Hot Air Tom got it. Nailed Richmond, nailed Norfolk, and on up the East Coast. So it was a doozy for us. So just saying. All right. Where did I go now? I lost my place. Here we are. The ramifications of the Trump administration trade war with Canada and other historic U.S. allies are already being felt by the travel industry. Alex Cruz, the vice chair of WestJet, former CEO of British Airways, said during an interview yesterday with CNBC that Canadians are increasingly avoiding the U.S. in retaliation for President Trump's steep tariffs on Canadian goods. There's clearly been a reaction, Cruz said. Statistics are coming through about U.S.-Canada border crossings, and they've been down the last couple of weeks. And we at WestJet have also noticed a decline in traffic. Canadians are increasingly changing their destinations to avoid traditional sunny U.S. vacation locations and are instead opting for getaways to other countries. Rather than visiting Phoenix or Florida, it's Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and Mexico, Cruz added. So Canadians are seeking to continue traveling overall. It's just that it may shift from the U.S. to other leisure destinations. When asked by a journalist if he thought the changes were a backlash from the U.S. administration's new trade war, Cruz indicated that such sentiments appear to be materializing. There's definitely a reaction in travel between the U.S. and Canada, he said, adding that there's always some evidence of a similar reaction growing among Mexican travelers who might have historically visited the United States for vacations. Changing Canadian travel patterns amid geopolitical tensions have the potential to be economically painful if they continue, said Cruz, cautioning, let's hope it's temporary, but yes, at the moment, yes, there appears to be an impact downward on travel. Meanwhile, Cruz indicated that WestJet is not seeing similar shifts in travel patterns thus far among Europeans bound for the United States amid the growing geopolitical tensions. Early last week, President Trump imposed sweeping 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imported into the United States from Canada and Europe. And on February 1st, Trump signed an executive order pronouncing 25% tariffs on the majority of goods from Canada, with oil, gas, and electricity taxed at the 10% rate. These actions have raised concern about the potential for a global trade war. The European Union has already responded with retaliatory tariffs on $28 billion worth of U.S. goods imported to Europe's, including boats, motorbikes, and alcohol. Meanwhile, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said the tariffs appear to be designed to cause a total collapse of the Canadian economy because that will make it easier to annex us. John Rogers, an economics professor at American International University, has said tariffs are likely to push up prices for consumers in the U.S. and abroad. Earlier this month, the U.S. Travel Association warned that the Trump administration tariffs on Canada could impact Canadian visitation to and spending with the United States, with even a 10% reduction in Canadian travel, leading to a loss of 14,000 American jobs and $2.1 billion less spending. Southeast Alaska cruise from American Cruise Line. Begin your Alaska adventure in Juneau, where the spirit of the gold rush still influences the area. Historic landmarks like the Alaska State Capitol and the Governor's Mansion stand as proud relics of a time when fortune seekers rush this frontier. Enjoy an exclusive cruise through the Inside Passage, where calm waters reflect the expansive sky, and every turn reveals secluded islands full of life. Sea otters, whales, and bald eagles command the sky. Explore Haines, where history meets nature. Visit the Valley of the Eagles to witness soaring bald eagles in their natural habitat. The Southeast Alaska Cruise from America Cruise Line, where small ship cruising is done perfectly. Call 434-258-9264. Mexico's cruise industry could face significant disruption as time runs short for the country's government to address cruise operators' concerns regarding the upcoming $42 immigration passenger fee. Mexican government officials delayed implementation of the fee in December, changing the effective date from January 1st to July 1st. The fee stems from the Mexican legislature that shifts cruise passenger status to a classification akin to airline travelers, according to Michelle Page, CEO of the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. Page believes intra-government changes may have influenced the removal of cruise in-transit tax exemption, which she said was implemented more than 10 years ago for a valid reason that still apply today. The European Travel and Authorization System, the digital entry system that will add a small fee and more streamlined customs approach for non-EU travelers visiting the European Union, has once again been delayed, with officials noting that it will finally launch in late 2026. Travelers heading to Europe this year will not have to worry about when the ETIAS will launch and whether they will have to comply with it anymore. Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas has officially submitted its corrective action report to the CDC, addressing the concerns from its recent sanitation inspection. The CDC has approved the cruise line's action plan, marking a significant step forward after the ship's near-failing inspection score of 86, just 1 point above the failing threshold. Last month, the Symphony of the Seas faced scrutiny after a February 9th inspection uncovered multiple sanitation issues aboard the vessel, including improper food storage, hygiene lapses, and mishandled gastrointestinal illness reports. After reviewing the corrective action report, the CDC has confirmed that Royal Caribbean successfully addressed the major issues found during the inspection. Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas is not having the smooth sailing guests hoped when they boarded the ship in Sydney on Saturday. The 7-night cruise was to have included visits to Adelaide in South Australia and Hobart in Tasmania. Unfortunately, guests were informed that the original itinerary would no longer be possible due to severe weather developing along the route, specifically on the way to Adelaide. The cruise had originally intended to be in Adelaide from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow, that's Tuesday, followed by Hobart from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Thursday. Instead, Ovation will head straight to Hobart for an earlier and longer overnight visit, arriving at 9:30 a.m. Today. The ship will remain in port until 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, that's tomorrow the 18th. While some guests on board will undoubtedly be disappointed at missing out on the vibrant city of Adelaide, these decisions are not made lightly. We're terribly sorry for the last-minute change caused by the weather, the notification to guests said. Your safety and comfort remain our top priority. Look familiar? Exactly 20 years ago, Carnival proposed its Pinnacle class, a truly revolutionary cruise ship class. It would have become the world's largest cruise ship with an onboard people mover, water slides, a lazy river, and an extreme focus on outdoor spaces. Carnival decided to cancel the project as it believed that cruise ships of this size are not as profitable as regular ships. A few years later, Royal Caribbean adopted the Pinnacle's vision and launched the Oasis class, one of the most successful cruise ship classes. And thanks to Hot Air Tom for that story. Hey, travelers planning on a trip to Florida, we've extended our discounts on mobility equipment rentals in Orlando and Kissimmee throughout the spring. Save on scooters, wheelchairs, power chairs, and more. These offers are valid for popular locations like Disney World, Universal Studios, and SeaWorld. Orlando mobility rentals are 15% off until May 31st, 2025. Call Scootaround at 1-888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137 for the best rates. And that's going to put an end to the news portion of today's show. Again, thanks to Elizabeth for all the hell she went through this morning. My goodness. All right, let's go over in the chat room and see who is fussing at me today. Let's see. All right, there's Hot Air Tom getting his work done before our departure. No paperwork to FedEx from the hotel. Yeah, let's not do that again. Hot Air says good morning to everyone. There's Kenneth up in Pennsylvania. Another cold day. I just looked at the Norwegian app. We can do our onboard check-in for the breakaway. Yes, on the 26th. I was aware of that. Mike's with us. Hi, Mike. He's, of course, on the other side of the pond. Joanne says, happy St. Patty's Day. There's Gary Older Than Dirt's with us. There's Sonny down in Mississippi. Hello, luck of the Irish too, y'all. Bob's with us, says happy St. Patty's Day. Our Scottish Highlands, Garden Haven, Lizardo, it is Nickel Pickle in Gale. Oh my God, I love you. Cool. Thank you. Sell me some tequila. Oh, wait, some gems. I love you, Chica. She's talking to Lisbeth. Back from the pub and having wine. We miss you. Okay. She says, hi, Ron. So you know some folks in here. Welcome to the pond. Hello, hello, hello. I'm so happy to see my former colleague and friend from circa 1993 chatting away on your Chillie's channel. I'm so hard to talk to hog the chat. I am so happy to log in to see you. That's just great. We're love to have you. That's awesome. And we don't mind in the least. Because Elizabeth is part of our family. This is Amy says, Happy St. Patty's Day. I'm envious where you are. Black beans and rice, chica, plantains here too. Is there yucca root flour? Wow. Todd's here says, good morning, everyone. Oh, hell, love the whole bottle. Very good. Hot Air Tom says, are those onions on the pretzels? Not on my diet. Yeah, we've got to ask Katie about those pretzels. That's for sure. Oh, there's Elizabeth back. Hello, I made it to the bar. Ah, very good. Lizardo, it's me. I take it she called Elizabeth Lizardo. I will have to ask about that one. That's not one that I'm aware of. Elizabeth says, hello, MP, and greetings to everyone else in the chat. Where is Hot Air? There's Hot Air. That storm was a fizzle in Richmond, too. I went to the store for milk and bread and just returned home as it started to rain. A few minutes later, it poured for all of 5 minutes. Well, it looked a lot worse on the maps. And he says, Elizabeth, I'm right here. So Elizabeth says, hey, Hot Air. No hot air in Hawes. It's cold in Yorkshire. Yeah. Since you don't know, Hot Air is one of our regulars who once upon a time did a live stream on this show from a hot air balloon. And then a couple of weeks later, did a live stream on this show from parasailing. And ever since then, we've called him Hot Air. And I can't even remember what his real name is anymore. So Elizabeth said I had to turn my phone off and switch on the iPad to watch the rest of the show. There's Cindy, signed on late, went back and watched Elizabeth, hoping to see her in May when I'm at Cozumel. Very good. Elizabeth says, hi, Cindy. I'll definitely try to make it over when you're there. So good to see you, Elizabeth. Miss you, my friend. Don't forget, thumbs up, everyone. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth says, I'm having a little Prosecco now. But that's not a very St. Patty's Day drink. Prosecco? Yeah, no, unless you put some green shit in it. And make it, oh, I'm not supposed to say that, am I? Oh, well. No green beer here. Yeah. There's Steve out in Kentucky says hello to everyone. We saw a lot of green hats in Hawes, but thankfully no green beer. Yeah, that's something that these idiot Americans do. Lots of people wearing green here in Aruba today. I actually have a green skirt on. Very good, Elizabeth. I'm sure you are very Irish, just like I am. I don't have green on. I am fussing. There's Roger. Roger down in Jacksonville. Hi from the doctor's office in Jacksonville. Only 50 minutes of waiting. Wow, that sucks. Okay, so I am Nikki, but thank you. I'm on my way to move to Yorkshire. Liz and I worked together in the old days. Hi, Nikki, and welcome to the family. I love the hot air explanation. Cheers, guys, and cheers to you too, Nikki. Do not mix Prosecco and Chartreuse Tree. Yeah, that's a good idea. Nikki says, hi. Okay. Nikki, thank you for being with us. We certainly appreciate it. We love anybody that knows Elizabeth. So you're now a part of the family. So All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. It's been a pretty good show. Again, my thanks to Elizabeth, and the hell she went through to get on the show today is just amazing. And again, it's all the reason we love her like we do. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be in Cozumel while she's going to be there. I'm going to be in Europe instead. So it's too bad she's not going across. Yeah, because then maybe we could have hooked up in Europe someplace. That would have been cool. But I don't blame her for going home for the 2 months. That she deserves it. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I'll be back on Wednesday. I will be monitoring things tomorrow if anything major happens. Again, everybody, have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy the day as always. And as always, folks, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas, just like Hot Air Tom and Kenneth and Robin and Gary Older Than Dirt and Miriam and Lourdes are going to do on the Norwegian. Where are we going on the Norwegian? Which ship are we on? I've even forgotten now. I got the Bliss stuck in my head. Yeah, that's not it. Anyway, we leave on the 31st, folks, on the Epic. You guys have a great day. I'll see everybody tomorrow or Thursday, whichever comes first. Thanks, everybody.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.